my scissors and my photo prints, sailing through the waves with my best friend, trading maps for pretty paper and some tape, making memories every single day.
Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Mixed Media Mayhem, where we are using this as our inspiration today. And I am also playing along with Series 18 of 30 Days of Sketches. Our sketch today is by Nadine Michelle from Paper Route Scrapbooking. And I don't know if that is a blog or if an Instagram or what, but I will try to link it down below if I can find it. So I'm starting out with a bunch of 2x2 photos, which my inspiration from Nadine was her 2x2 photos and lots of squares. And then in our inspiration for Mixed Media Mayhem, we also had a lot of squares, but I need to add mixed media. So I'm going to be doing some 2x2 squares painted onto this background paper. So what I did was I went through and I marked out, I took about a 1-inch border all the way around the outside, and then I marked out a 2x2 grid inside of that. So essentially I have a 10-inch by 10-inch grid of 2x2 squares. So I am kind of ignoring the papers that Nadine has on the sketch there and just running with the 2x2 squares and making that work. So for sketches, I feel like that's kind of what you do. It's a jumping off point, and you don't necessarily have to follow them exactly, but take some inspiration and what works with what you've got going on, and that's what I'm doing. And since I'm combining it again with Mixed Media Mayhem, I'm going to be adding paint, and I'm always really excited when I can just pull off a layout that has no patterned paper on it. I don't know. So in my Facebook or Instagram, I constantly get these things where they're adding paint, 2 different colors of paint to each other. And so they'll start out with like a solid color and add like 20% of another color to it, and then they'll add 40% of another color to it, and then 60% of the other color to it. So you're getting all these varying shades. So that kind of inspired me to do that here. So I pulled out this crimson red paint that I've got because there's a lot of red in these photos, at least a portion of these photos. And so I am doing 5 squares in this crimson red, and then I'm going to add a drop of the blue paint to it. I think this is navy blue. I can't be sure though. I can't see the top of it because it's tiny on my little screen here. But I added 1 drop of it. Well, I tried to add 1 drop. As you see there, it was much more than 1 drop. But I ended up taking away a bunch of it because it was way too much. But then I'm going to add a little bit back because then I thought, well, I think I took too much away. But it's not an exact science, and I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to get a different color, basically, than what I've already got. So I've added a little bit of blue, and I'm doing 5 squares in that blue, and then I will be adding 2 drops to the next little pile of red, and there's actually more red. So I started out with a drop of red and 2 drops of red and 3 drops of red and then 4 drops of red, and then I'm going in reverse with the blue, so that the largest pile of red has 1 drop of blue in it. So hopefully that made a little bit of sense. So I'm going for a little bit of a darker shade here. I probably could have added just a little bit more, but when it's all said and done, it all works out. So I'm not too worried about it. I kind of like the way that it's going so far, even though it's not a huge bold difference between the second color and the third color. And then the fourth color, I had to add a little bit more blue because it was looking a lot like the third color. So it was kind of a process, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy with the way that it came out, and it looks really cool with the photos. Now about the photos, those are all from the Aqua Theater show on board the Harmony of the Sea, which is the ship that we sailed on in February for the scrapbooking cruise that MK and I taught on. So The photos are they're really cool, but I don't need a ton of pages of this particular show. Even though it was fantastic, it's probably not going to be super like important to anybody else in my life. So I just thought I'd take some highlights of it. There were a lot of aerial things going on, aerial acrobatics. There were synchronized swimmers. There were divers, like high dive divers into a little tiny pool. There was a guy doing highlining, which is a lot like tightrope walking, but not exactly. And then there were some guys doing slacklining, which is a bunch of acrobatics on kind of like a tightrope, but not exactly, over the water. And they were doing all kinds of flips and jumps and all kinds of crazy things. It was really cool. We did see a show like this last year. It was called Aqua 80s. All the music was 80s themed, and it had a very 80s themed look to it and feel to it. But this one was all like techno 90s music as well. So I took this over to my sewing machine, and as you can see, my sewing machine is miraculously set up so that you can actually see some stitching going on. I don't normally show the stitching, but it is currently set up in the right spot. So I am just filming that I went all the way around the outside. I didn't want it to be a perfect square. None of my lines are perfectly straight. And some of them I did a little back stitching over. I want it to kind of have that little bit of wonky and imperfect look to it. And then I followed along with the grid. I did go and erase all of my lines before I put down my acrylic paint, because I didn't want my pencil marks to show. But then I went and added them back so that I could do the stitching kind of somewhat in a straight line, even though not perfectly straight. But so my grid wouldn't be super wonky. And then I went back and erased all of those. And I didn't make you sit through drawing those on camera, because you already saw that at the beginning, even though it was very light in regards to how much pencil I left there. So I am using a little Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to hold my photos down, and then I am setting my acrylic blocks on top to kind of let them sit there so that the actual photo kisses the paper and stays put. Otherwise, they kind of like to cup and pull away from the paper, and I wanted to make sure they were going to stay down. But because it's on top of mixed media, I wanted to make sure that the mixed media kind of adheres to the photos, or the photos adhere to the mixed media. So as you can see there, I picked out how my photos are placed so that the ones with the most amount of red are down in the red corner, and the ones that are more of the night sky, which is kind of dark and inky, is kind of up near that deep purple. That's a really inky color. And this allows you to see the differences in the colors quite a bit more, because a lot of the other squares are covered up by the photos. My photos are just slightly smaller than 2x2, and that is purposeful. I also am going to distress the edge of all of those photos. I don't know if I've already done that on camera or not, because I didn't make you sit through all of that. But I went ahead and distressed those also because I want a really imperfect look on this layout, and I am distressing the chipboard pieces that I've got here. That centerpiece says wild and free as the sea, and then it says oh my heart, because oh my gosh, oh my heart, this was amazing. I did take this tab that says awesome over to my sewing machine, and I ran it through and put a little stitching on that, and same with this little black piece that says just add water, because I just thought it was so fantastic. It's always amazing to see the water shows. We had gone to see it not the first night, but the first night that we went to see it, we waited for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes while they decided if they could do it or not. But what had happened was there was a medical emergency on board, and they had to reroute to, I believe, Cancun, and drop off somebody that needed to have some medical attention. So that meant going to our first port. We were running at full speed ahead, basically. And the problem wasn't the wind. The problem was actually that the performers could not hear in their earpieces for any cues from the people running the show and or anything like that, and the safety people, because the pool is right above where the engines are. So they couldn't hear any of those cues. So they canceled the show and told us to come back the next day and that we'd have, we'd for sure get in, because we did not get to see it on the first night that we went to see it, which is when we were reserved for. So yeah, you do make reservations for these things. So anyway, that is it, you guys. This show was called The Fine Line. If you're over on Harmony and they have it, I highly recommend it. You can see here in the pictures some of the really cool things that they are doing. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to check out everyone playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem and Series 18 of Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. Playlists are down below. Also go check out what MK is doing on her channel for today's sketch. I can't wait to go check it out as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye-bye.